The man walked closer and realized it was a studio light. But how could something like that suddenly fall from the sky? At this moment Truman didn't realize he had been deceived like a fool for 35 years. From the day he was born, his life had been broadcast simultaneously to 300 countries. Over 6 billion people witnessed Truman's growth. Everyone but him knew the truth. Even his mother Angela and wife Merrill were professional actors. The island he lived on was, in fact, an unimaginably massive film set. In the real world, countless viewers tuned in to watch this hit reality show. Every morning Truman greeted his neighbors as usual. Next he would encounter his neighbor's dog. On his way to work he would run into a pair of twins. At some point a friend would press him against a billboard for a gossip chat. Although his life repeated the same patterns every day, Truman seemed to have grown accustomed to it all. Until one day, on the street he saw a very familiar man. When he got closer he realized the man was his long-dead father, Kirk. But before they could reunite, several people suddenly rushed out and forcibly took Kirk away. What shocked Truman even more was that every passerby and vehicle seemed to intentionally block him from following. Helpless, he could only watch as Kirk was taken away. The next morning Truman told his mother about meeting Kirk, but Angela seemed indifferent, brushing it off as a hallucination. Unwilling to let it go, Truman dug out old childhood photos, staring at Kirk's face in the pictures. He was even more certain he hadn't mistaken him. Then he pulled out a red sweater. Back in college, Truman had fallen in love at first sight with a girl named Sylvia, but just as they were drawn to each other, Merrill suddenly appeared. At the time he didn't realize the director had already chosen a partner for him. When Truman thought he would never see Sylvia again, a chance encounter at the library reignited his hope. Not wanting to miss the moment, Truman boldly asked her out, but Sylvia told him they had to leave immediately or it would be too late. Following Sylvia's suggestion, they snuck away from the cameras and headed to the beach. Sylvia couldn't bear to see Truman trapped in the lie any longer. She revealed to him that everything around him was fake. She urged him to escape as soon as possible. Before Truman could fully process her words, a man claiming to be Sylvia's father appeared. He insisted Sylvia was mentally ill and forcibly took her away. From that day on, Truman never saw Sylvia again. All he had left of her was the sweater she left behind at the beach. Even so, Truman couldn't forget her. He often tore off the faces of models in magazines, trying to reconstruct Sylvia's face from memory. Every time he did this, Sylvia, sitting in front of her TV, was deeply moved. The next morning Truman drove to work, but the next moment, he noticed the radio station was broadcasting his every move. At that moment Truman finally realized something was wrong. To test his theory, he began altering his routine and observing everyone around him. He quickly noticed the same people appeared every day. The elderly man drinking coffee, the chatting couple, and even a man blatantly spying on him. Then Truman abruptly ran into a building. Inside he found an elevator that was actually a staff break room. It seemed everything was pointing him toward uncovering the truth. Back home, Angela and Merrill noticed he was acting strange. They tried to cheer him up by pulling out photo albums and reminiscing. But the next moment, Truman stumbled upon a monumental secret.